All right, welcome. I'm on the wrong screen. I don't have a YouTube intro. What do I do? Whatever. We are gonna be going over a couple topics today. The one that I want to start on, and actually, like, the reason I decided to do this video, is I really want to talk about Esports, a TO org and a tournament organization that I did not know about before last weekend, and now I will never work with. So Esports, it says it is an event planning and production for esports, bringing the crispiest and saltiest experiences for all competitors. Well, they sure as hell got the salt. People are pissed at them now. They screwed up 3 events in 1 week, but I found out about them all in the same weekend, and that's when everyone found out about it. So this is what I said about it. And I said, it's incredible that the same tourney org pissed off the Ultimate community, the Rivals community, and the Brawlhalla community all in the same weekend. They decided that when they were called out for it, that they would be passive aggressive as hell and then blame all of the players for the issues. These are 3 separate tournaments. It was not one tournament with 3 events. It was 3 separate tournaments that they held. And every single one, they said that player attitude was the problem. The players aren't appreciative enough of us. So I'm going to get to this. The main person who made 2 of the 3 issues made an apology. And in that apology, he claimed that, like, oh, I made a mistake, but really, I wouldn't have made my mistake if the players didn't do it first. Get out of here with that. That's not an apology. Okay, so we're going to go over these in the order that I found out about them. The first one I saw was Rivals. And I saw this thread from MSB. And if you don't know who MSB is a top, I'm going to say 10 to be safe, I think top 5 Rivals player. So there was a tournament that was being held by Esports. Here's where the issue starts. This was a Rivals tournament that decided it was going to use the live spectator lobby feature. This is a feature in the game. It was introduced very, very recently, and it has some major issues with it. Primarily, if you use the live lobby feature, it can introduce lag for the competitors right now. Obviously, that's not how they want it to work. It's an issue. They're working on it. The dev team has said, hey, the live lobby feature doesn't work the way we want it to. If you stream a Rivals tournament, every single big Rivals tournament, the way they do it is Rivals has a replay system that just spits out a file at the end of every game. And you can take that file, upload it to a different copy of Rivals, and play everything out because that file just has all of the inputs that happened and in the order and in the timing. And so you can have the crispiest replays possible because you don't have to worry about, like, Discord or making sure that streaming is going well or anything like that. You can just upload the files. And what they do is they either, depending on the event, either hide the bracket so that spectator can't see what the results were until it's input, or they just say, like, hey, no spoilers in chat. Everyone still gets hype. Everyone still loves watching the tournaments. Esports said, no, we are going to use the live spectate feature, and we will force you to, like, wait for stream. And if we mark that you're on stream, you have to do it, and you have to use the spectate feature, and we're going to introduce lag, and we're going to do all this. And so, of course, the players were like, no, we have a good way to do replays and to make sure you have a stream without needing to introduce lag to the players. Why wouldn't we use that? And the TO said, you're disrespecting me. So the 2 players in this case were Matty Ice, who is a very, very, very good wrestler, and Menace, who is a solid player in his own right, not top 50, but Menace is actually, like, the big person who does seeding for Rivals tournaments. And so when Matty Ice and Menace said, like, hey, we shouldn't be using live spectate because it's got issues and it causes lag still, and we have a good functioning replay system, the TO specifically says, all right, you 2 have to play in, like, round 1 or 2, and you're being marked for stream. And he said he wanted to put them on stream to, quote, teach them a lesson. So it's a tournament organizer that nobody in the rival scene has heard about that has now decided to take the top seed, or, like, one of the top players from his tournament, and the person who probably seeded his bracket, and says, you guys have to play on stream and have to use this live spectate feature because I need to teach you a lesson about disrespecting tournament organizers. Sorry, they didn't play against each other. He had them each marked for different spots on stream. I just want to make that clear. So Maddie, who is a top player versus someone who's might be unseeded, Maddie says, all right, if you're going to teach me a lesson, I'm going to teach you a lesson, and proceeds to time out games 1 and 2. So he wins by timeout game 1 and then loses by timing himself out game 2. And so the TO says, nah, I'm going to DQ you for playing for timeout, which is like allowed in the rule set. I don't know if game 3 happened or not. It's not good, but he did it. And so the TO's reasoning was, you are intentionally delaying bracket. But the rule set says you can go for a timeout. And then he tried to say, yeah, but he timed himself out and lost game 2. And everyone's like, yeah, but where in the rule set isn't that allowed? He didn't stall. He didn't it's Rivals. There's not a ledge for him to stall on. He didn't top platform camp. He just timed himself out and lost game 2. Obviously, the timeout was him trolling. But it's trolling in a way that still does fit the rule set. And it's not like Matty Ice has a history of this. This is not an I Love Wobbles Woo who has managed to have entire sets where he's like, we just didn't touch each other for 8 minutes. We're both at 0%. It wasn't that. Also, let's be clear. The other person, Menace, who was also saying hey, we shouldn't use the live spectator issue, seeded this tournament's bracket. He was the head seeder for the event. He wasn't affiliated with the tournament. He just wanted to help them. So eventually, the TO was like, hey, we DQ'd them. Fine, whatever. He DQ'd him. And then eventually made an apology. And let's see if I can find the apology. Here, apology to Rivals and Aethers and Ragalo. Top 8 will be using the replay system. This is the worst apology I've read in so long. Rivals. He was upset that the spectator mode couldn't be used because he thought that it would be more hype for the bracket. Whatever. His apology isn't an apology. There's really no going back, and we no longer have a place here with everyone at Rivals. We will be doing this solely with replays. Yeah, we both shared that vision, and I utterly failed him. Yes, you did. It was tweeted out by Scrub Coach, which I thought was very funny. They said this and then deleted this. Timeouts are a viable strategy, but we must note here. 1, he berated us for using spectator mode. True, as he should have, because spectator mode causes crashes. It literally doesn't work in this game yet. 2, he won in first match in timeout. That is fine. He says that is fine. 3, it says, in the second game in question, he was down a large deficit, never approached to deliberately timeout. So 1 is, he told us that we shouldn't use spectator mode, which is true. And then 2 and 3 are, he followed our rules, and we don't like the way he followed our rules. So yeah, this is a bunch of crap. It sucks. Aang Esports is an organization that literally from their page, from what I've seen, they play 10 different games as part of their tournament organizing. I saw Ult, I saw Rivals, I saw Brawlhalla. I'm pretty sure I saw Rocket League. I think I saw Fortnite Nights. They're one of those esports tournament organizers that's trying to do it all at the same time. My takeaway from all of this is, if you partner with a community, you need to understand this community. There's a reason that when orgs try to force themselves into a gaming space that they don't know, it usually fails. It usually falls apart. Just partner with community members, and when those communities raise concerns, you need to listen to them, because there's a reason they're saying this. People aren't giving you crap on Twitter or in your Discord because they think it's fun. They have legitimate reasons to worry about a tournament thing. That's the entire point here. Okay, so that was one tournament this weekend. Number 2. They made the ultimate community get pissed off. Player from North Carolina, Regalo. They got DQ'd after playing a bracket set for lag. So Supergirl Kells was the person who got upset. Regalo beat SGK. Supergirl Kells is beating a good player. That is a good win to have in your resume. Before the tournament finished, or before that bracket set finished on Smash GG, SGK says, is there anything we can do about those lag spikes? The moderator doesn't respond, and so eventually they just play it out. Regulo wins. Then the moderator comes in and says, oh shoot, we didn't see that you had lag spikes. Yeah, we'll DQ you, Regulo. And this was after they proved that they have a LAN connection. They did a network test, whatever. We're ignoring all of that because that doesn't matter. What matters is that after a bracket happened, they DQ'd someone. Also, fun thing is that after the player was DQ'd for lag, Supergirl Kels was like, wait, I didn't ask for him to be DQ'd. She was hoping for a lag test, and if the lag test said there was an issue, then maybe he gets DQ'd to losers. She never asked for him to be DQ'd after the set. The TO just went, oh, there's lag. I'll DQ him for you. What? Why? Why did you do that? The golden rule of TOing is that if two competitors play out a tournament set, it does not matter if it's not under the same or under the correct rule set. Wii U had the 0.9 knockback scenario where they accidentally found out that a tournament set did, I want to say it was either Evo or Genesis, which played with 0.9 knockback instead of regular 1.0 knockback. The thing is, if a tournament set is played under any set of rules, it is assumed that the players have both agreed to that. The only issues there is if the TO accidentally does something, and that's why the UCF scenario with Leffen and Shootout is harder, because that was on the TO to make sure that that was set up correctly. I've had players play out sets that they thought were supposed to be best of 3s and were actually best of 5s, or vice versa. And if you play something out, we just go based on what the two players were understanding. You do not get to roll back a bracket. If a player gets up in the middle of the match or in the middle of the set, yes, definitely talk about it, figure it out. If they fully play it out, you don't get to 15 minutes later be like, oops, my bad, we're gonna fix that. No. So that is the ultimate one. So here's the final one. Here's the final situation, and this is in Brawlhalla. So this is a tweet from someone who actually worked with Aang Esports and was the person either running stream or TOing for Aang at the Brawlhalla event. Because he says, here's the head of Aang getting caught for messing up a rivals tournament. He's just sorry he got caught. This is the same guy who stopped by a stream to yell and curse at me and a 15-year-old TO last week for Brawlhalla, and then banned and blocked me from the Aang Twitter when I walked. So this is the head of Aang, again, who in this story claims he doesn't know who the TO is, didn't know that he was 14, and yelled at him and said he was useless and would never make it anywhere in esports. And had to be told why yelling at a 14-year-old and calling them useless and then blocking them from your event is probably not great. On the screenshot provided where I called a TO useless, it is sad to say, but I do not recall who this was. It was brought to my attention that I cannot go around saying such things flippantly, as my words do in fact carry much more weight than I think. As explains to me, telling a 14-year-old they're useless in TOing matters can negatively impact their pursuit within esports in the future. I cannot recall who it may be, but I do recall many instances of people constantly bringing forth ideas. I don't remember who my TO was. They were just 14-year-olds that I gang pressed into running my events for me. What the hell? This is the same guy, and so this was earlier, and then later, after this, so this is in his apology after the Rivals and Ultimate thing. And then he got called out again on this for saying, I don't recall who this was. And we're gonna pull up this since I have not read this actually. This is posted afterwards. You claimed I lied about my experience. This is why I haven't come to Twitter to do it yet. Because you deleted the VOD, you banned me from the server, erased all of my messages, and then erased the VOD of me streaming for them. I never lied about my experience. Nothing in this screenshot is false. Yeah, no, I totally believe the 14-year-old in this scenario. Here, okay. I've worked with Brawl streams before, but it seemed you wanted it differently. Nothing wrong with that. Your org and your stream so far, whatever. Okay, this goes into more specifics. I don't care about all the specifics of this. I really care that this guy didn't know who his streamer at /TO was, and then called a 14-year-old useless, and then when called out on it, says, I don't remember who that is. You mean the person you blocked on Discord, Twitter, and deleted the VODs from? That's the person you don't... I don't recall who that was. I just blocked them on 3 different sites and it deleted all of the evidence. Never work with Aang Esports. That's where I'm getting from this. After the rival stuff, my takeaway was, if you are partnering with the community, you should listen to that community and like take their concerns and understand that you are working and helping grow an already existing scene. My takeaway from the ultimate one is that if you are TO, do not roll back a bracket. If 2 players have played under something and finished it out, you are playing under the assumption that that is the correct rules. If 2 players play something out, they have, by playing the set, have agreed to play under those situations. Takeaway number 3, if you get mad at someone on Twitter, you don't get to say that you don't recall who they are after you blocked them on 3 different social medias and deleted all VODs of their existence. Especially if they're a minor. Also, you don't get to call a minor that's looking to gain experience from your org, which only has like 1,000 followers, and it was a small tournament. You don't get to say they don't have enough experience. You shouldn't have hired them then. I have worked with TO orgs, and I've run bad events myself. People always get leeway, and everyone gets second chances. But they burned through 3 different chances in a 1-week period, and I learned about them all in the same weekend. And then they were the world's worst excuse and apology for it after being called out on Twitter for an earlier apology. That was also bad. Final verdict is we don't partner with Aang Esports on anything. If you like the stuff that I'm talking about, I am an esports tournament organizer, a Smash commentator for Melee, PM, and Rivals, and I'm branching into some other games too. I don't know what yet, but we are doing a whole series about indie fighting games, and I'm really excited about it. Additionally, I make content about indie games, so I figured the indie fighting games is a huge way to get some crossover there. But yeah, if you like my stuff, I'd love a subscription. Free, easy, thank you so much. Treat your communities with respect, treat your players with respect, treat your workers with respect. Wojo, I need you to do all of my copy editing from now on, because that was way more succinct. In fact, this is going in the video, and I'm not gonna give Wojo any credit. Let's go, wisely owned. Do you think I can trick them into running a P+ event and getting 0 entrants? Absolutely. I think they are dying to have people that are willing to trust them now. Rollback, good for netcode, bad for brackets. Exactly. Pretty okay for Walmart shoppers too. There we go.